Hello, beautiful souls. I'm so glad that you could join with me today. We're a little bit later in the day today, only because I am accomplishing the goals that I set out to accomplish. And with that, I have to adjust my schedule a little bit. We have to make sacrifices to have everything that we want, and that involves taking some leaps of faith. Some really good messages just popped up here. Okay. So, with our Eight of Wands, um, this is pure fire coming at you. This is so much energy all at once. Now, there is a sense of clarity here where it's not just some ideas you've been playing with, it's now a very stated direction. I know what I want, I know what I need to do to get it. And all of a sudden, the pieces are just falling into place. It makes so much more sense now. There was some fogginess to some of what was happening for you. I'm getting for some of you that you just felt like you had to do something. You just didn't know exactly what you needed to do. You knew you needed to change something. You just didn't know exactly what it was that you needed to change. This is now becoming clear for you. You're starting to really hone in now. I need to change. I'm getting for some of you this is about your career goals. Um, for others, it's more directed at the relationship that they're in is just not going anywhere. You just gotta leave. Just get out. It's how many days are you guaranteed in your life? Let me ask you that. How many are you guaranteed to live? So how many are you willing to waste on speculation, waiting around for people to figure it out? Waiting around for people to love you the way you deserve to be loved, waiting around in that job, waiting for them to appreciate you for the work that you do when they haven't seen it this whole time. Are you waiting for someone to sign you up for that class? Or are you going to sign up for that class? Is it time for you to leave the city and move somewhere else and start fresh? There's so many messages that come through when I pull this card. It's like I'm speaking directly to so many different people, but it is clarity. And it is the inspiration and the understanding that you actually need to do it now. You know what you need to do, and it's time to push. Or Two of Pentacles. It's time to go. This is the card of transformation. This is the card of actually taking this stuff and going with it. Now, at first, it might not make sense. You might not understand why you feel called to a certain place to live. You may not understand why you're called to go ask somebody about a certain type of job, or why you feel called to work in a certain area, or why you feel called to go on a trip. If you're single, if you've been alone for a while, you may feel called to go to somewhere you don't usually go. I'm going to stop at the store instead of the store. I'm going to I'm going to go this place a little early and just kind of go browse around. This is about trusting your instincts, because transformation is here for you, but you have to embrace it. And with that, we have to trust our instincts to guide us there. So there's going to be some things that you do a little differently that aren't your norm, that are a little bit like maybe you don't think you have it in the budget, but an opportunity presents itself for you to take a trip. Take the trip. You don't think you're qualified for that job, but all of a sudden a job opportunity opens up in front of you. Take the job. It's the next step. Your single girlfriend calls you up and says, "Let's go here with me, please." And you're like, "Oh, I don't go." When this card comes up, you need to grab on to whatever change is presented to you and just trust it. Rock with it. Go. Yes, sometimes these are big steps. This is a card of transformation. You wanted things to change in your life. You actually have to do the changes. You have to go with it. And if you didn't know exactly what it was before, you're starting to see with these opportunities that come through what is starting to happen for you. Now, maybe you don't know the exact step by step progression from where you are now to where you're going to end up. And you're like, okay, witch, like, that doesn't make exact sense. Go on this trip. What does that have to do with me getting this new job? Do you need to know the details or do you trust yourself? Instinct is about trusting that, I don't know, just let's go with it. Trusting the feelings that bubble up from inside of you when you're presented with an idea, not when you sit there and overthink the crap out of it. That's not intuition. That's anxiety. That's overthinking. Intuition is, we should go on a trip to the Florida Keys. And you go, yeah. And then you start thinking, well, no, 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 no. That first, yeah, that was your intuition speaking. Now, if somebody says, we should go on a trip to the Florida Keys, and you're like, mm, nah, I didn't, don't see myself going there right now. That's your intuition too. That wasn't you. That wasn't in alignment with what feels right for you. It should instantly spark a, yeah, before the overthinking. Now, if you don't get an immediate reaction that you can decipher clearly, sleep on it. Wake up in the morning, first thing it pops into your head, even if it's a little bit like, it's going to be tough, it's a lot, but you still want it, that's your intuition speaking. Now, we also have this message. Where is it? There it is. This don't make sense to nobody else. In fact, there are going to be challenges. They're tests to see if what you want, you really want. Are you willing to do what you need to do to get there? Are you willing to step away from the toxic people? Are you willing to go sit at that lunch table by yourself because you're tired of hearing them people talk all nasty about other people because you don't want that in your life anymore? Are you willing to take that risk? You might have to cancel a couple subscriptions for a few months and get your finances in order for you to upgrade your car so you can take that job that's a little bit more of a drive. But did you want that job? Because if you had that opportunity land in your lap and it felt good, you have to be willing to make the sacrifices to make that happen. Yeah? See? Yeah. You're not going to always have everybody cheering you on because they want good for themselves. And there are some people that are going to project their jealousy onto you. That is just the reality. That doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they're not elevating, they're not healing, they're not working through that stuff yet. But you are. So when you see somebody getting their come up, cheer for them and be like, too happy for you. I want something good for me and I want that person cheering for me too. And you know what? They will. They'll remember. So yeah. Intuition, when you get that, like, I gotta do this, you do. Take the opportunity, whatever feels right. Yeah, do the work. Put it in. You got this. It's gonna be good for you. I can't wait to hear what comes. Ooh, this is a powerful message right here. I love this. Okay, look. Nothing is wasted in new beginnings. Feeling real strong. This is on the love front for some, but also this can be a power play in the job career front. You're sitting there thinking, this was a waste of time. All this for what? I'm so mad that I invested all this energy and time into this. And Spirit's like, what do you mean? That was the next step on your path. You were supposed to do that work because when you went into that environment and you gave it your all and you learned them skills and you worked through it and you did what you needed to do, you were gaining valuable experience. You were learning lessons that you needed for your come up so that you didn't self sabotage, so that you didn't throw it all away. The new beginnings are on the horizon because you put that work in before. Do not disrespect spirit by saying it was a waste. That was not a waste. Nothing that you've done is a waste. Nothing. Not even that cheating one. Not even that one. Because what did that teach you? It taught you, you know what your worth is. You no longer tolerate that type of behavior. You see the signs real quick now, too, and you do not play that game. You're just like, nope. And you know that you can walk away from that and you'll be fine because you did it already. It doesn't hurt you no more. You don't sit there crying over them. Fact, now you go out and you put more energy back into yourself. You're like, oh, because I will never sit and cry over any of that nonsense ever again, right? So that wasn't wasted. It taught you something about yourself. It taught you a lot about how to vibe out other people, how to trust your instincts, because you knew something was going on that whole time. You just didn't want to admit it. And when you finally admitted it, you found out that it was true and it hurt you. You hung out, you tried to fix it, put more into that. The whole time, Spirit was trying to show you to get out, get out, get out. And you didn't that time. And you went through the process of grieving and working through and healing. And then you started pouring it back into yourself. You got up there, got another opportunity in front of you. And immediately you start seeing the signs and your gut tells you something's not right. And you're like, nope, that's what you learned. That was your gain because now you didn't waste all that time and energy and invest all of that into this next person. Spirit was like, you learned your lesson because of what happened the first time. And now you're even better at it. Now you don't even get halfway in the door because you already know what that looks like. And you're like, no. And matter of fact, now your standards are up here because you're like, actually, I'm pretty happy on my own. I'm pretty happy doing my own thing. And you got to be up here to match that because I don't need anything else. That wasn't wasted. That was part of your healing. That was your growth. And that is what prepares you for what's next. So, no crying, no feeling bad, no mad, no, none of that. Matter of fact, you go, thank you. Thank you for showing me all this stuff when I was young. I was kind of dumb. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was making all kinds of bad choices. I was prioritizing other people over myself. I let that man take my car to work. Whatever the case is. You know, we've all done dumb stuff, right? We've done dumb stuff. Maybe the roles are reversed. It doesn't matter. Don't want to leave the gentleman out here. There's some good fellas out here too. There's some good and be beautiful babies out here. But we've all experienced some stupid actions that we did not put ourselves first. We let someone get over on us, but it wasn't wasted. Instead, you want to say thank you. Thank you for showing me. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for letting me have that and get that out of my way and know better and do better in the future because now I'm ready. Give me the best of the best. I'm not going to mess it up. I earned it. I earned it. I know my worth. Give it to me now. Now I'm ready for it. You will not self sabotage this. You got some really good stuff coming on the horizon. So, all this stuff, say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you. That new beginning is right here for you. Yeah. Okay. So we've got another message coming through here. Now, this may be speaking to another group. It may be speaking to you on another level for a different situation in your life. You take what resonates, you leave what does not. If you need personal guidance, you know where I'm at. It's a slide scale. It fits everyone's budget. Look, deep emotions, unknown feelings, past life influences, and we got some doubt here. Releasing the need to know all the answers. We cannot see what spirit has planned for us because here's why. because you were shooting too low. You were way down here, shooting way down here. You were dealing with generational trauma. We had a lot to work through. The self-esteem was down here at one point. And you were like, I'd be really happy if I was right here. And Spirit was like, no, baby, you're up here. And you're like, no, I'd be happy for right here. You were settling, okay? So there's a reason that we're not supposed to see and know all, right? Because if we did, we would skip the lessons. And then we would get to where we think we belong. We'd be all full in our heads, doing a lot of self-sabotage, throwing a lot away, not taking the risks on ourselves, not being willing to put the work in. The doubt is helpful. Now, it doesn't seem like it's helpful when you're sitting there going, I just got to get out of this hole. How do I get out of this hole? Right? These feelings are guiding you towards a better life. We're not going to necessarily see what that better life looks like because Spirit doesn't want you to question it, doubt it, overthink it, or self-sabotage it. You're not at that place yet where it can show you all that's ready for you. Right now, it's asking you to learn to dig into that intuition, to dig deep into your feelings, to really look in the mirror and get real honest with yourself. This is some shadow work you need to do, okay, babe? So look, it's tough. There's some feelings that you got bubbling up and you don't even know what to do with them. You're like, why do I feel like this? Well, you got to ask some questions about that. Now, this might require some like legit therapy. It might not be something a reader can dig into. I'm a life coach. I'm a spiritual guide. I'm a reader. I do all kinds of healing work. I can guide you through some parts of this, but you may need to go see a therapist on a regular basis to really dig to the root of your trauma. I'm just being honest that some folks do need that. Now, if you've done some therapy work and you've learned them tools and you're out here and you're just working and you're like, you know what? I just needed to be reminded of that. Okay, that's fair. But I highly recommend that all of us take at least a few sessions with a real therapist and learn them skills. Shadow work is for everyone. We all have pieces of ourselves. We all have that little voice in our head that says things, right? It says mean things. It says mean things about you. It says mean things about other people. Some intrusive thoughts. We all get a little bit of this, right? Some of us will see a nice car drive by and we're like, oh, I wish it would crash. Especially the way they just cut me off. We all have these parts. Like it's a part of being human and having this life experience. We're the universe experiencing life for it, right? Because we're a collective, part of this greater collective, and we're just this tiny fractal being. So we're all one in some ways. There's nothing wrong with that. That also means that we all share in some pain. That means that we have some generational trauma that was passed on to us. We have some patterns and habits that we picked up long before we even knew they existed. And we might not even know that they're not healthy if we haven't been around enough people to experience something different. So what I'm getting right now from Spirit is telling me, you're just now realizing that the way you were raised and the way maybe your mom and dad or your grandparents were raised wasn't the healthiest. It was with the tools that they had. And we don't hate them for it. We're not bashing them for it. That was what they had. That was the best that they knew how to do. And for the most part, they were acting out of love. Now, some of them were acting out of their own insecurities, their own pain, their own trauma, and they weren't doing a real good job. Again, we don't need to hate them for it. What we need to do instead is try to dig back into why that happened. Because some of the things that I uncovered in therapy, and then combining that with doing some past life regression, I was able to dig back into the behaviors that my mother had obtained from her grandparents. She didn't even realize that they were passed on down through the line from her parents to her and then to me. And I experienced these behaviors that caused deep trauma in me. And I don't blame her for it because I can't blame her mom for it. Her mom was doing the best that she could. She was trying to survive and she had a rough life. I mean, honestly, most of the people that we come from, they were struggling way more than we have in different ways. Whereas we have these conveniences and we have more services available. We have people that are more aware in certain areas. There's a lot of stuff that they did not have, okay? So we have to kind of consider that and recognize that sometimes we're dealing with the way that we feel about someone or something that wasn't us authentically coming up with that on our own. It was passed down to us. So, no, we don't know exactly where we're going yet because we are not prepared for that. But we can get there, we can do that work. So, Spirit is asking you to trust the process. What do those feelings make you feel like you want to do? Where do they feel like you need to go? What do you need to address? There's something here that we need to ask some deeper questions about. If you want to work with me on this, let's work on this. We're going to get into some questions. We'll do some therapy work, whatever we need to do to get to where you understand where these feelings come from. And then you're going to learn to trust yourself. You're going to trust the feelings because you know where they come from. So then you can trust them, right? You don't have to question things. You don't have to question that greater purpose that's out there for you. Right now, it seems like you don't quite trust it and you're not quite sure where you're going to go. But Spirit wants to draw attention to these wounds that need healing. So this is about you working on these issues, these wounds, these feelings, figuring out where they come from and where you can get them alleviated, where you can resolve them. Thank you so much for being here on your healing journey. Thank you so much for sharing your journeys with me. I love experiencing this life with all of you. We're going to get through this together.